Hello and welcome. My name is Lloyd and I'm the founder of McVeigh Marketing Solutions. I put together this quick video on how to establish where you're at in your SEO and do you need more help with your SEO. I'm going to show a couple things that you can use to take a pulse of your own company or have somebody else, such as like myself or another professional, take a look at your stuff. They're very simple things to do, so let's go into my computer. When doing your initial pulse check for your SEO, the first thing you're going to want to do is, find out where you stand. The simplest way to do this is to Google yourself, i.e. your business. So if yourself is your business name, you would in fact Google yourself. I will be using some example businesses and business types in this tutorial. I'm not affiliated with or have anything to do with them honestly, but I will give credit to them as I use them as examples. So let's, for an example, use plumbers because they are a service provider. And let's find a company that maybe isn't ranking so well, that maybe could use some improvement. This should help you find what you should be looking for and where you can improve, and knowing when to seek help. I'm going to Google plumbers near me. I do have a couple of plugins and tools that are operating right now. They're very simple plugins, and I will discuss them in a later video, but for now that's not important. Now, plumbers near me, they're a service-oriented industry. So the ones that are at the top of the heap right now are generally the ones in the map pack. The map pack are these three ones right below the Google map. For anything local for your business, this is where you want to be and want to fall, in these three places. This is very competitive, but this is where you want to get. The second most coveted spot is to be on page 1 of your local search results. If you just Googled your business and using a generic keyword, i.e. plumbers, for an area, and you aren't a plumber on the first page, your SEO needs a little bit of help. That's one of your first indicators. So we will go to, and most times it's not, most consumers on the internet, the primary place to be is on page 1. I don't want to sound like if you're on page 2 or 3, that's not a good position. But all things being equal, it's exponentially less likely to have a customer click on your content and find you the farther you get away from page 1. So if we take that as a baseline, that's just the facts. So I'm going to go into page 3 and find a plumbing company. And we'll look at some other I'm going to go with this Village Plumbing and Heating Plumbing in San Diego. They have a website. They're not on page 1. There we go. And I believe they'll be a decent example so we can see what we could improve, and this will help you to see what you could improve, and me too, because this is something that you should do periodically depending on how much you need to do or how far behind you are. I would personally recommend just taking a look-see and doing a quick check every month. I'm going to open up another tab. This is a personal thing just because I want to verify with this company here. I could have just done it that way. I'm silly. Okay. Well, they're going to bring up their website. That wasn't exactly. Okay. So they have a WordPress website. They have the capability to draw traffic. Let's see. Go back into the maps. See if they're on page 1 of the maps at all, not just the map pack. It doesn't look like it. I'm looking for something in specific to demonstrate, but there we go. I actually had to Google by their name to bring this up. So Village Plumbing, San Diego and Heating. This is their Google My Business listing. Notice they have 1 review on the listing, and this all plays into your SEO and the ability for a customer to find you. They have 1 review. They don't have a full address, for instance. That right there could definitely use some work. Just in finding that. The solid address, I actually thought was a requirement of the Google My Business, but they apparently didn't have to list the full street address. But that's actually hurting them in their search listings, because that'll it's the name, address, phone number across all your accounts. You sync those up, and that actually helps to increase your SEO and your visibility and all that. So right there, they need a bit of work just on that alone. They do have some decent search volume just for the sheer fact of plumbing, probably. I'm going to go back into their website because we've determined that they have a need for a little bit of cleanup right here already. So I would personally dig a little deeper into this, as you should too if you find something like this with your website or your properties as you go along. So that's already. Now notice that their site is very nice. It's a very, very nice site. Home, about. See, there's their actual address. That should be up on their Google My Business listing. I'm not actually looking for anything in the site currently looks wise. I'm literally just going through and checking to see just indicators that SEO can be improved. I'm going to use another free plugin that I use a bit. If you actually have access to the admin portion of a site or through Google Analytics, you will have much better data. But for the purposes of just doing a quick check on somebody's site, the techniques that I'm using are more than sufficient. So this is called SEO Quake, and it kind of gives you an overview, and there's a couple little features that it can go into and be beneficial for you to know. So with the organic search, they've actually increased by 22% over what time period? I think that's over the year that I have it set for here. So with this downward trend here, a few months ago, they were seeing approximately 40 so people, or I should say 40 or so searches a month, specifically for the 73 keywords that they have on their page. And here's some of the keywords. This is, again, the free version of this piece of software, which is SEMrush. The paid version will give you more information, but they have their top organic keywords here, and there's 73 of them that's being their draw. So they've had an increase of organic search. They're probably doing some SEO work right now, which is good, which means that they went through the process, or had somebody go through the process of identifying the issues, probably one of the ones that we just found, and they started to fix those issues. And their traffic is increased. Yeah. By that 22% over the past 3 months. That's a really, really good increase. So, this company, Village Plumbing San Diego, they're on the right track. But that's what you need to do at the very, very basics, is go in, see where your company stands, and how you can improve your SEO. After the basics of those couple things, like the Google My Business, and then oh shoot, where'd it go? Making sure your NAPs are all good. Double checking your content and on-page SEO is another important determining factor, because yes, I got that analytic tool, for instance. But there's another tool that you can use to actually look at your on-page SEO, even if you don't have a tool. I know it doesn't make any sense, but we'll just show it. So all modern browsers have an inspect tool. how I got to Google's was Control Shift I, or you may right click and you can go to this inspect tool here. What I personally look for, and you don't need to know a lot of code for this. This is very, very easy. I should have made this a bit bigger for this tutorial, but and Google did just do a major update, so we'll see how great this is going to work. In HTML, you have your head tag. Okay, the basics is that this is pretty much where a lot of your how the page is going to be set up goes. And what we are looking for are your meta keywords. Which might not, depending on if they actually changed it over for this SEO, might not even be there anymore, as the keyword, well, the way keywords are being used has changed in a good way. Well, that's actually kind of good, I think. What I just description. So this is a meta description, which this is the appropriate use instead of using a bunch of what they would call keyword stuffing back in the day. You have your content, and this is, you know, highly targeted description. But they're not using any meta keyword tags. Huh. Well, that's kind of it's still used, but generally you're not putting 40 or 50 keywords into that tag anymore. But that is kind of a pleasant surprise. So they are doing, whoever's doing their SEO is, in my opinion, doing a pretty good job. They're probably still working, so it's in the works. But yeah. Anyway, there would be a meta tag here, and it would say, you know, meta keywords, and you would just have, say, plumbers and plumber San Diego and all these words that are supposed to be targeted to make the algorithm have the user come to your page or content. That's not exactly how the algorithm works anymore. Now it's contextual keywords that you know, flow in the content. Is pretty much the way that it works. So that's actually a good fix. So those are kind of the basics for how to get a pulse. And as I said, they're having their stuff worked on currently, which is a good thing. And they're improving. And it's taken, they probably did the baseline the first month. Here in July. Then they saw a slight raise in August. And now they're still climbing. So that was a pretty good example, because it also shows the effectiveness of SEO. Hey, I hope this video kind of gave you some decent ideas on how you can check yourself for what needs you should have, or what needs you would have for your SEO. That Village Plumbing and Heating in San Diego here, they're on the right path to SEO success. Again, I have nothing to do with that company. I just want to give credit where credit's due. Since I use them as an example. But okay, I hope this was helpful. If I can be of any assistance, I will be releasing more content in the future. So thank you, and have a good day.